a bigger version of Ramunap Red and Stephen Nagy on a Temur energy build. So Bomat Courier coming down there on turn 1 and getting directly into the red zone.
Yeah, speaking of players who kind of understood the change of the metagame, Ben Stark has brought his kind of like twist on Ramunap Red, being really, really good at trumping a lot of the turn 3 plays of the energy decks. So he's playing Sand Strangler, which does 3 damage when it comes to play if you have a desert, and it kills both Rogue Refiner and Whirler Virtuoso.
Yeah, it's just a really smart way of building his deck here for Ben Stark. Stephen Nagy followed up that Bomat Courier with a Long Tusk Cub, and Ben Stark with 2 painful lands, adding to his board with a Soul Scar Mage and having no attack there.
Yeah, so the reason why we're calling Ben's deck Big Red is it actually has changed a lot of its cards to kind of be able to trump what normally was Ramunap Red. So it doesn't actually have any of the 2 or 3 cost haste creatures. It has, instead of that, it has Rampaging Ferocidon and then Sand Strangler. And then he also has cards like Glorybringer in the main deck. And doesn't actually play Hazoret, which is, he only has 1 Hazoret main deck, which is really, really kind of crazy. It kind of eschews all the kind of public knowledge of what Ramunap Red should be.
Yeah, it's just crazy. So this Rampaging Ferocidon came down for Ben Stark. Then it's followed up with a Rogue Refiner here from Stephen Nagy. Stephen Nagy going to take 1 damage here. And wow, there's the Sand Strangler. And that's going to be able to deal with this Long Tusk Cub. It also means that Stephen Nagy only has 1 blocker, so the menace on this Rampaging Ferocidon becomes quite relevant.
Yeah, like Stephen really stumbling on his mana a little bit, and so... no, actually, he hasn't stumbled on it, but just Ben having a really, really great curve out here.
Yeah, the only place that he didn't use all of his mana was on turn 2, but besides that, some great advantage here for him. Sand Strangler. Card is very well positioned this week, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, it's only a 3/3, but it kills a ton of cards, especially in the Mirror and the energy decks. Also kills Winding Constrictor.
Stephen Nagy there with Chandra, Torture Defiance, going to use that to kill the Rampaging Ferocidon on the other side of the table. But Ben Stark, he's got a big play here. It's Glorybringer, and that's going to come into the red zone. Will it exert to deal with this Rogue Refiner? It will, and that's 8 damage coming at Stephen. The Chandra dying.
Yeah, and I mean, Stephen's so far behind. There's, again, basically no way for him to come back here. There's too many permanents on Ben's side of the table, and he's only at 9. Ben still has 2 cards in his hand. I find it kind of tough to think that Stephen's able to come back from here, but who knows? Might be able to string together a couple removal spells, like wait out that Glorybringer from Exert, maybe Confiscation Coup or something like that.
That could be one way that he might be able to get back into this game. Right now, things, though, looking very, very scary for Stephen Nagy.
One of the interesting things of Ben Stark's deck is that it has more deserts because it needed a few more, so Sand Strangler is a little bit better. So you'll see a Dunes of the Dead in his mana base there. So when that card goes to the graveyard, you get a zombie. So, you know, if you sack it with either Scavenging Grounds or Ramunap Ruins, you'll actually get some value out of that.
Yeah, Ben's version of the deck playing quite a few more deserts than other versions of Ramunap Red as a result.
He's able to do that because he's playing 25 land. A lot of Ramunap Red decks, they try to go lower to the ground, probably play something like 23, sometimes 24. I've seen versions at the Pro Tour in Kyoto that actually ran as little as 22, but I think most of the decks are running like 23 or so now.
So Ben Stark there going to cast Chandra, Torture Defiance using the minus activation to deal with Whirler Virtuoso. Stephen going to create 2 Thopter tokens in response, but it looks like all of Ben's creatures are hitting the red zone, so Stephen put to the test here. Is he going to choose to trade with the Bomat Courier and chump, or is he just going to trade with the Bomat Courier? Very dangerous here.
Yeah, I mean, if he doesn't block the Sand Strangler, he's going to go down to at least 4. If he only tries to trade with the Bomat Courier, he'll go down to 3.
The problem for him is that if he chooses to do that, then the Chandra will have no way to be pressured on the following turn and will represent even more damage on the following turn.
Yeah, that's what he's really worried about. He wants to keep 1 creature back, doesn't want to like double chump here. But the problem is he's kind of squeezed both ways. He can't really afford to take too much damage. And it looks like he's not going to worry about the Chandra.
So blocking the Sand Strangler there and the Bomat Courier.
Yep. Stephen left with no permanents on the no non-land permanents on the table.
Has a Glory Bringer of his own, but as we know, that is not able to deal damage to other dragons.
Right.
It is dragon friendly.
So he may actually just play a Glory Bringer and sit back. No, but that won't work because a Chandra activation plus the rest of the creatures will defeat Stephen. So he may just have to play this Rogue Refiner and hope to get something like a Harness Lightning off the top of the deck.
Yeah, he definitely needs to be double spelling here if he wants a chance at survival.
Yep. And he doesn't draw any removal spells, so Ben Stark takes game 1.
All right, so it looks like the next round pairings are up, so we're actually going to leave this match, but we're going to save the end of it for you because we're going to have Ben Stark join us in the booth and walk us through what happens in the next couple of games here. All right, let's go to a quick commercial before we come back with more standard action here at Grand Prix Atlanta.